Okay. Today, everyone, today I'm gonna read only read about Prof-Ed or professional education. Um, the things that I'm using or the materials that I'm using in this or in this video are not mine. They belong to its rightful owner. So that's it. This is for educational purposes only, and I'll just share my screen. But first, I'm gonna check it on my cell phone if I can hear my live. But the background music or the neighbors' music are very noisy. I don't know if it will be banned by the YouTube. And that's it. One, prenatal development begins from conception to birth when a sperm unites with an ovum to form a single cell called zygote. Which stage of development is characterized by rapid physical changes? The answer is infancy. In terms of their emotional behavior, babies respond to strange and unusual objects with a general fear. Later, their fears become more specific and are more characterized by different types of behavior. Which of the following principles of development is illustrated by this situation? Development proceeds from general to specific responses. What idea about age is not right? Okay, I'm gonna read all of it first. Letter A, chronological age is different from biological and psychological age. Chronological age, letter B, chronological age, biological age, psychological age, and social age are related. Letter C, psychological age and social age are two different things. D, chronological age is the same as biological and psychological age. So, which of these statements are not right? The answer is chronological age is the same as biological and psychological age. So all of them are right and except this letter D. He pioneered in coming up with a list of developmental tasks as individuals as through the developmental stages. The answer is Hurst. The following are the developmental tasks under early adulthood except. So I'm gonna read it all. Letter A, selecting a mate. B, taking on a civic responsibility. C, getting started in occupation. D, developing adult leisure time activities. The answer is developing adult leisure time activities. What is the advantage of knowing the developmental task for the stage of development that the students are in? The answer is the teacher will be able to determine whether or not the tasks she plans for the students are appropriate. Which among the following is achieved during the childhood stage? The answer is personal independence. This is the transition age when adjustments through initial and mental decline are experienced middle adulthood. One who has reached the age wherein, like in peers, he tries to know himself more, discover his interest and passion, seek to establish a sense of self, and experiment with different roles. Based on Erickson's psychosocial theory. What critical stage does Wunwoo belong? Adolescence. Vernon spends a great deal of time working and trying to establish his career. He also has been thinking about how his personal relationship is going and considering whether it could be long term and lead to establishing a family. Alan is most likely in early adulthood. A child who is cold towards the people around him might have failed to attain what basic goal based on Erickson's theory on psychological development, trust. Mr. and Mrs. John give their children the freedom to run, go bike riding, skate, and slide. What is the couple allowing their children to develop? Autonomy. Every morning, Mrs. O would scold her son for not fixing his beddings, claiming that her son was old enough to do so. But when Mrs. Osan asked permission to attend a party, she claimed that he was still too young to do so. What could be the effect of the situation to Mrs. O's son? Role confusion. Despite failing at an audition for a play, Joy believes she will soon get the role she truly deserves. This exemplifies hope. According to Eric Erikson, this maladaptive tendency is a sort of shameless willfulness what that leads a person to jump into things without prior consideration of abilities. Impulsiveness. After a few days of chatting, Marupok instantly fell in love with her chatmate, Juan. However, this relationship did not last since Juan stopped chatting her because he found another girl. This maladaptive tendency of Juan to become intimate too easily and without depth of intimacy is characterized by promiscuity. Most Filipino parents, wala, sorry na ako naman. Most Filipino parents have the tendency to overprotective about their children. If this tendency goes way beyond the reasonable level, the children could have a sense of shame and doubt. Maglangan-langan sa ako. In Erickson's stage theory of development questionnaire, which affirmation belongs to the stage of initiative versus guilt? A. I feel what happens to me is a result of what I have done. B. I avoid doing something difficult because I feel I would fail. C. I feel optimistic about my future. D. After I have made a decision, I feel I had made a mistake. The answer is A. I feel what happens to me is a result of what I have done. Just a moment. 28-year-old Wendy has a difficult time making friends at school. She has trouble completing her schoolwork accurately and on time, and as a result, receives little positive feedback from her teacher and parents, according to Erickson's theory. Failure at this age of development results in feelings of inferiority. Erickson's stages of development focus on conflicts throughout the lifespan. Erickson labeled children who are 2 years of age as terrible too because they are assertive. In Erickson's stage theory of development questionnaire, which affirmation does not belong to autonomy versus shame and doubt. A. After I have made a decision, I feel I had a mistake. B. When people try to persuade me to do something I don't want to, I refuse. C. When I have difficulty in getting something right, I give up. D. I am unnecessarily apologetic. The answer is when I have difficulty in getting something right, I give up. So all of the other words belong to autonomy versus shame and doubt by Erickson. In Piaget's cognitive development, when a mother explains to the child that cats, unlike dogs, do not bark, the child is in the process of creating a new cognitive structure. What term did Piaget use to describe the child's cognitive experience? Accommodation. Of Piaget's concepts, which refers to the process of fitting new experiences to a previously created cognitive structure or schema. Assimilation. Yari, 7-year-old girl, knows how to arrange objects of the things according to shape, weight, shape, color, or size. Yari is a young learner, has already developed the concept according to John Piaget. Huh? Yari is a young learner, has already developed which concept according to Piaget? The answer is seriation. When when Irene was 5 months old, she looked at a toy train, but when her view of the train was black, she did not search for it. Now that she is 9 months old, she does search for it, reflecting her development on the concept of object permanence. This is the assistance given by the teacher or more knowledgeable peer to assist the learner to accomplish a task. A. Scaffolding. B. More knowledgeable other or MKO. C. Potential level. D. Zone of proximal development. The answer is scaffolding. At what level of of Kohlberg's stages of moral development is little Jaimin who behaves well to get a star stamp from her teacher. A. Pre-conventional for mutual benefit. B. Conventional for social approval. C. Conventional out of fear of the teacher. D. Post-conventional for social contract of the common good. The answer is pre-conventional out of the fear of the teacher. This is the part of us that we can reach if prompted, but it is not in our active conscious subconscious. According to Piaget's theory of cognitive development, a child during the sensory motor period does not see things in abstract forms. Therefore, in teaching mathematics to young children, the blank con- concrete stage should precede the abstract stage. Following Piaget's theory of cognitive development, Miss Victoria provides her students varied activities that enable them to classify objects according to the more than one variable, rank and order items in logical series, and understand that amount of mass or liquid do not change because their shape does. These developments can be expected to be performed by elementary school children. It is during this stage that sexual urges remain repressed and focus of the children is the acquisition of physical and academic skills. Latency stage. As an adult, Sulgi is uptight and extremely rigid, often unwilling to make even small adjustments in her schedule. Sulgi is described in Freudian term as anal retentive. Based on attribution theory, people tend to attribute successes to internal causes and their failures for external causes. What then is a potent key to success? Motivation, success. A piece of a piece of music may sound sad, but each note is played. There is nothing sad about it. This is based on the doctrine that says, Ganan ko sa hilo kay na siya nakasulat. You're my sure na sure. And this word full of char lang. Ay ayo. The answer is the whole experience is more than the sum of its parts. Which of the following is a teaching implication of ecological system theory? Take into account and changing nature of society and society's influence on the student. Of the following human needs, which is considered as the most basic needs for human growth and maturation based on Maslow's hierarchy of needs? Health and safety. Based on Erickson's psychosocial theory of development, which of the following statements does not speak about initiative versus guilt? So I'm gonna read it all. A. People can be trusted. B. I am prepared to take a risk. C. In difficulty, I give up. D. I feel what happens to me is the result of what I have done. People can be trusted. Dahil na makakontrol. Difficulty in focusing and maintaining attention coupled with recurrent hyperactive and impulsive behavior are observed difficulties of children manifesting a kind of difficulty known as ADHD. ADHD. What is learned is based on what is already known. This implies that prior knowledge and biases limit and affect what is learned. This is known as Ausubel's sub- subsumption theory. Tolman's concept showed a kind of learning that stays with the individual until needed. It is not outwardly manifested at once. Through our learning gained beforehand, we will be able to recall it when needed. This is a kind of learning called latent. When we use acronyms to help us retain and retrieve information more effectively, such as techniques used mnemonic aids. When certain topics are presented in the elementary in a manner appropriate for grade schoolers, and the same topic is tackled in high school, but on a much deeper level. This is referred to as a spiral curriculum. If one is asked to develop himself to the fullest, what need is he trying to satisfy according to Maslow's hierarchy of needs? Self actualization. This is described by Freud as the components of personality that is concerned with the idea of right and wrong. Super ego. Felix has been staring at a puzzle. He is figuring out how to solve it, and suddenly, an idea flashed in Felix's mind, and excitedly she was able to learn how to solve the puzzle. This implies that Felix is babae dili. Insight learning. Sa ino ay makasayaw mata sa sansira. Hanap lang mo ko eh. Napakoy pangita. Napakoy pangita. What? Ay, wala eh. Ay, wala ko nakita. I wish psychological theory states that the mind insists on finding patterns in things that contribute to the development of insight. Gestalt psychology, finding patterns in things. Which of the following law states that we tend to fill the gaps in figures as we perceive them? Law of closure. Which statement is true of behaviorist? A. They focus solely on students' observable behaviors as the indicators of learning. B. They believe that students play an active role in learning process. C. They believe that helping students work with other to meet common goal is an important part of teaching. Oh, I want money. Dali. Dali. Dito. Money, oh. You want money? Oh, just eat this. Oh. It's okay? yummy. Mommy, yummy. Mommy, yummy. You want to buy? Bye. Oh, you going to mommy? Which statement is true behaviorist? Balik ko na ko. A, they focus. Which statement is true of behaviorists? A, they focus solely on students' observable behaviors as the indicators of learning. B, they believe that students play an active role in the learning process. C, they believe that helping students work with others to meet common goal is an important part of teaching. D, they look at knowledge as something constructed by synthesizing ideas with prior knowledge. Mang! Ikaw sa ato ni Talot, be? A, they focus solely on students' observable behaviors as the indicators of learning. What does Gangne's hierarchical theory propose for effective instruction? Sequence instruction, which is an example of child's mesosystem that does not work favorably for child. The child's parent and teacher are at odds. Which of the following is an example of negative reinforcement? Excusing Sihon from cleaning the toilet because he got high score in math. Mina, a 7-year-old girl, pretends to host a grand princess ball in her mind. What pre-operational ability did Mina manifest? Symbolic function. Three, three-year-old Chong Ha cannot understand why her cousins call her daddy uncle and not daddy. What is being manifested by Chong Ha in this situation? Egocentrism. The poem child learn what they live by. Denote expresses that the environment produced by the parents and teachers determine the quality of the development of children. If a child lives with honesty, he learns what truth is. Likewise, if a child lives with praise, he learns to be appreciative. Sung Jay is aware that he studies more effectively and works better in a quiet library rather than at home where there are a lot of distractions among the categories of metacognitive knowledge, which is or are exemplified in this situation person variable. Who said that the mind is like an iceberg? It floats with 1/7 of its bulk above water. Simon Freud. Simon Freud. What is the first and the last event of instruction according to Gagne? Gaining attention, enhancing retention, and transfer. Renjun is well acquainted with banana, mango, dalandan, and guava, but he didn't know until he was taught that these were all examples of fruits. What process of meaningful learning is exemplified? Superordinate learning. In Piaget's moral development theory, children of age believe that justice is subordinated to adult authority, ages 5 to 7 or 8 years old. And the content of Piaget's theory answer this analogy. Pre-operational stage, transductive reasoning, concrete operational stage, inductive reasoning. After former President Marcos burial and libingan ng mga bayani, there was a number of citizens who rallied against it and sought for justice, even if the burial had legal approval. Following Kohlberg's theory of moral development, these social activities belong to which level? The answer is social contract.
Junk foods daw ya.
Hala, may mabuhat akong tagaan ani eh na. Wala siya.
Junk foods yun.
Ikaw may mami niya. Ron. 4. Which of the following will be Freud's description of the child's behavior if of sa to? Sa baaw eh. Which of the following will be Freud's description of the child's behavior of if he has biting? Are. Which of the following will be Freud's description of the child's behavior of if he has biting, sarcastic manner? The answer is fixated in the oral stage. Sa ba, dahil sa akong background ay Freud theorized that when we are born, we function totally from our id. Which of following is an example of positive reinforcement? Giving Joshua a money for washing the dishes, spanking Julia for throwing trash on the street, taking away the lollipop of Sujong does not finish her homework, excusing Sihon from cleaning the toilet. Because you got high score in math, the answer is giving Joshua money for washing the dishes. That is a positive reinforcement. Which of the following is an example of negative punishment? The answer is taking away the lollipop if Sejong does not finish her homework. It's negative punishment. The gradual disappearance of a conditioned response is extinction. Extinction. This is a method for increasing the retrieval of information where one repeats the information verbatim either mentally or aloud. Rehearsal. Which of the following describes a maladaptive tendency in the middle adulthood? The person believes that he has ay, read sa ako answer ay kapoy. Which of the following describes the maladaptive tendency in middle adulthood? The answer is they no longer allow time for themselves for rest and relaxation. Robert Havighurst identified six major age periods which of the following developmental tasks belong to early adulthood. Iulit niya ang sukli. Thank you. The answer is it is time for work and time for love. Dali. Dali, tita. Ay, you get it, please.
Tita, what that
Quiet. Just eat. Kaya nagbasa si tita.
Basa?
Robert Havighurst identified six major age periods. Which of the following developmental tasks belongs to early adulthood? The answer is it is a time for work and a time for love. What is Oedipus complex? Boys developing unconscious sexual desire for their mother. Pre-operational children still have the inability to rehearse their thinking. Which of the following examples best describes this? Wala ko. Giubo ka, nagkaon ka na. Pre-operational children still have the inability to reverse their thinking. Which of the following examples best describes this? The answer is, hala, naghang akong, na, They can understand 2 plus 3 is 5 but cannot understand that 5 minus 3 is 2. Children in concrete operational stage think logically but only in terms of concrete objects. Which of the following is an example of this? Child perceives different features of objects and situation. Which of the following describes the malignant tendency in the eighth stage? The person becomes very negative and appears to hate life. If parents if parents are there the minute the first cry come out will lead the baby into the maladaptive tendency which Erikson calls sensory maladjustment. If parents are there the minute the first cry came out will lead the baby into the maladaptive tendency. Quiet, quiet, quiet. Maladaptive tendency which Erikson calls sensory maladjustment. The person feels as if everything must be done perfectly. Mistakes must be avoided at all costs. This describes the malignant tendency in stage 2, autonomy versus shame and doubt. Which of the following virtues below is developed if you get a proper positive balance of industry versus inferiority? Competency. Which of the following describes the virtue of stage 3? Kato. It is the capacity for action despite a clear understanding of your limitation and past failings. Mobalhin po kwarto be. Charlotte, give Tita one ha. Okay? Thank you. It's okay? Huh? Okay or not? Okay? Thank you. Tita will just go somewhere down the road, okay? Hmm? Wanna go with me? No, but. Hmm. I need your love. Ang to? Pakakanta. And forever. Din ako butlon kay sayang.
What? What tita? What yummy? What? What tita?
Did you throw it? Did you throw it properly? Sa basurahan? Ay, God. Oh. In which stage of the following describes the virtue in 3 stages? So daw? Which of the following describes the virtue in stage 3? It is the capacity for action despite a clear understanding of your limitation and past failings. What is a measurable limitation that interferes with a person's ability, disability? Metacognitive knowledge is further divided into three categories. Which of the following is true about strategy variables? It involves awareness of the strategy you are using to learn a topic and evaluating whether this strategy is effective. Difficulties in the specific cognitive processes like perception, language, memory, or metacognition that are not due to other disabilities of 6 stages and 3 levels. Kohlberg identified 6 stages of moral reasoning grouped into 3 major levels. Which of the following correctly describes the third stage? The person acts because he or she gives importance on what people will think or say.
Tita.
Ay, With, with Mildred Parton's stage of play in mind, which of the following describes associative play? The answer is the child plays with others. There is interaction among them, but no task assignment, rules, and organization are agreed upon. Do behaviorist teachers believe they have control over the variables that affect learning? Yes, learner has no free will. They only respond to environmental conditions or stimuli in the environment that teachers arrange. Kaya dako kayong dagway. According to Freud, children pass through 5 stages of psychosexual development. Which of the following shows the stages in the correct development order? Nawala lagi akong shared screen. Oh, what's your problem? Oh, you throw it in there. No.
Dali,
Mama, sit kalot, mama. Oh.
dali. La, la, la.
Okay naman, ang iyang basura ba? Dira na siya. Dira lang, you can stay in there.
La, la. Dali, la.
According to Freud, children pass through 5 stages of psychosexual development. Which of the following shows the stages in the correct developmental order? First, oral stage, then anal stage, next, phallic stage, then latency stage, finally, genital stage. OA palagi. Mga tayang mnemonics. Abram, who wanted another piece of cake, whined incessantly until he has given another serving. Which personality? personality component is illustrated in this situation. It. Jun is motivated to improve his metacognitive skills. Which of the following ways does not advance metacognition? Accepting new knowledge. According to John Piaget's cognitive concepts, which refers to cognitive structures such as seeing a dog and forming an initial idea of a dog. Schema. Geno can understand that his mother can also be a daughter and a sister, all at the same time. This suggests that Geno is in the concrete operational stage. Grace has developed a fear of falling in love because her past relationship caused her pain. Fearing of something that was caused by a painful experience is an example of classical conditioning. Arnold, who has developed feelings of self worth, confidence, competence, and achievement, is considered by Abraham Maslow to be already satisfying the needs. Esteem, the blank needs. A, esteem, B, psych, physiological, inakabalang basa. Physiological, C, self-actualization, D, love and belongingness. The answer is self-esteem. Arnold, who has developed feelings of self-worth, was a self-worth esteem. What was characterized by Jenny when he replied, Mr. Sun is already sleeping, to the question asked by her aunt of why it is already nighttime? Animism. A child receives a candy after correctly completing a task. The child always tries to complete all tasks correctly for him to have a candy once again. What is being shown in the situation? The answer is observing the sick and the very old. What level of in Kohlberg's moral development did Saint Teresa achieve? Universal ethical principles. Which of the following is an example of positive punishment? The answer is spanking Julia for throwing trash on the street. Positive daw siya, okay. Last song syndrome or LSS happens when you cannot sing any recent unpopular song, keeps on playing in your mind based on information processing model. This happens because new information is blocking out old information. This phenomenon is known as retroactive interference. Which statement is true about LSS? They focus solely on students' observable behaviors as the indicators of learning. Miss Arena uses low-profile classroom techniques, therefore managing her classroom well. Which of the following technique could have been employed by her? Raising the pitch of the voice. From cluster of meaningful learning activities which does not belong to verbal linguistic intelligence, learning, ecological field trip. So all of the others belong to verbal linguistic, the debates, reading, and journal writing. When a student misbehaves, teacher Gestoni will often go near to the misbehaving student or stand beside the student to give a signal to the student that he should refrain from misbehaving. This situation is an example of what low profile response of a teacher. Proximity control, it's standing beside the student. Among components of direct instruction, which is the identification of the skill required and how is it used with the teacher, sharing a cognitive secret, modeling. What type of learner, hala, taas sa pani, verbally describes that what he, what type of learner verbally describes what he or she learns to another person auditory, kanang mangmarites. Joke. For direct instruction which does not belong Inductive method. To give everyone a big class a chance to participate, to give a to give everyone in a big class a chance to participate, which one should you employ? Small group discussion. You want to teach plants response to light inductively. How will you proceed? Show pictures of plants growing toward the light, then ask students to draw their conclusion on plants' response to light. A cognitive faculty wherein the learner is able to see, hear, smell, feel, and taste whatever it is to be learned. What is this? Five senses. Ano ba? Learning is strengthened when accompanied by a pleasant feeling, while it weakened when accompanied by unpleasant feeling. What law of learning explains this statement? The answer is law of effect. Teacher Ben let his students give the definition of a word in their own words. What level of cognitive domain is in his students' understanding? It is said that the learner is a union of a sentient body and a rational soul. His body experiences sensations of pleasure and pain. With the idea in mind, the learner can be considered as embodied spirit. What kind of questions can the teacher ask to develop critical and creative thinking among students? Divergent questions. This is a cognitive faculty of retaining and recalling past experiences. Memory. It is a communication through bodily movements like facial expressions, non-discursive communication. It is a communication through bodily movements. Balik siya. Okay. What the teacher knows what he is talking about. He possesses what power? Expert power, and that ends my choo choo today. God bless. So upright this time.